Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we're talking about the big transition. Transitioning your baby from your room into his nursery. Transition. You just spent however many months with your newborn next to you in the same proximity of where you sleep. I don't know about you, but I had so much anxiety over it, and I had so much, I don't even know the word for it, but like I felt like I was removing something from me. Like I wasn't going to sleep with something that was vital to me next to me anymore. I had so many different emotions about it. I was happy that he was going into his own room. I was sad that I wasn't going to be sleeping with him anymore, but I knew it was really important. And at that point, when we transitioned him, he was 6 months old and he didn't fit into his bassinet anymore. So we're like, okay, we really do have to do this. He can't just sleep in our bed, even though I would love that. He really can't. He was already moving around, rotating around, kicking us. I was like, I need a good night's sleep. But at the same time, I was like, how am I gonna do this without my little one next to me? How am I going to get through having him in a completely different room? What if I don't hear the monitor? What if I don't hear him crying? What if the monitor dies? What if? Oh my goodness, all these things were going through my head, and I didn't know where to start. So I started looking up YouTube videos, started talking to my other mommies, and they all had so much information. It just got so overwhelming. The cry it out method, the don't cry it out method, the oh don't touch him, oh pick him up, the let him cry it out but know that you're there for him, the oh my goodness, the amount of information that is out there and the amount of information that is contradicting themselves was so overwhelming. I couldn't get through it. And I was sitting there one morning and I'm like, how am I gonna do this? And my husband turns over and he's like, let's just take it a day at a time. Let's see what happens. We'll put him in there till we go to bed and then we'll bring him back. And I was like, well, isn't that gonna mess him up? Oh my goodness. I was in tears and just the amount of mom guilt. I'm like, oh my goodness, he's gonna think I'm abandoning him. And mamas, it's okay to feel all of that. Everyone has been there. You're not the only one. So take a deep breath. It's okay. You'll get through it. We got through it. He's at 8 months now and he solely sleeps in his room. But I'm going to share with you a little bit on how we got through it, how I got through it. Now, the methods out there, they are amazing. And if you can do any of them, I know Baby Wise is supposed to be incredible method, and it's a book that many people I know use it and they were able to follow it. Then the cry it out method, I know a lot of mamas have done it and it's amazing. And just for me, at that point of switching him from being next to me to a different room entirely, I couldn't handle doing a method with that transition. A little bit of a backstory. I had such a hard time. They still have his bassinet up to this day. We're taking it down this weekend. But that just shows like how much anxiety I had during this time. And I want to let you know that you're not alone. Everyone has been there, and if you do have this much anxiety towards moving him into his room, into his crib, it's okay to take your time. So what we did was we started off, we put him to bed in his crib. And when he would wake for his midnight feeding, then we would bring him back into bed with us, and then he'd sleep with us for the rest of the evening, or rest of the night. And that went on for about 3 days. Then we did it where I would go into his room for his midnight feeding, I'd feed him and then put him back to sleep in his crib. And then if he woke up again at like say 4 a.m., then I'd bring him back into our room. So I slowly transitioned him into his room. It took a week. It did. It took about 7 to 8 days for this transition, and it was okay because I was able to slowly transition to that point of not having him in our bed. And it was a transition for him too, so I felt that he didn't feel like we were neglecting him or that he was completely isolated from us. So we did that, and by day 5 he was completely in his room all night long. We both got a better night's sleep, and my husband. So all 3 of us got a better night's sleep by him being in his own room. And now that I see it, I'm like, well, why did I have such a big problem with transitioning him? But it's something different. It's something different for the both of you. He's been in your room for us, it was up to 6 months, and it's scary with SIDS out there, and with the crib slots. The first night we had him in his crib, his foot was in between his slots, and I was like, oh no, 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 I need the mesh barrier. So we got the mesh barrier, and then we started over. So for us, it took about 2 weeks for us to start over, but we did eventually start over, and we got him into his crib. It took us a week to fully get him in there and for him to be completely okay, and for me to be okay. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychiatrist or anything. I don't know if this was the best route for my child at the time. Now that he is 8 months old, he is phenomenal in his room. He actually would rather be in his room than with us in our bed. And oh, one other thing, before we even started to talk about transitioning him into his bed, we did start doing his naps in his room. So we would, instead of having his naps in his bassinet, we transitioned him into his room. So he would get familiar with his room, get familiar with his crib, with his bed, and it would start smelling like him instead of laundry detergent. But yeah, so I just wanted to let you mamas out there that are struggling with moving him from your bassinet, from your room, into his own room. It's okay, we've all been there, and it's okay to have that anxiety. It will be there because it's basically separation anxiety for you, and probably for the baby as well. But it changed my sleep so much. It really helped us sleep a lot more. He wasn't nursing as much in the middle of the night because he wasn't smelling me, but he would still get up and nurse about 3 times in the middle of the night. At 8 months, he is still doing that, but now that he's okay in his room, then I think now we will start a sleep training regimen after his ISR. So he did start ISR this week, and I will do another video on my thoughts and trials with that. But right after he gets more comfortable with ISR, we're gonna start to do the sleep training to try and wean him off of doing those midnight 4 a.m., 7 a.m. feedings. Last night he only did a midnight and 4 a.m. and then he was up for the day at 7. That I am perfectly fine with. I will take that any day of the week. But some days he likes to wake up at midnight, at 2, at 4, and at 6. So those we have to cut out. But we will try that, and I will do another video on how we did sleep train our baby to sleep through the entire night. I think what we are going to do is look into the Baby Wise program. It is a cry it out type of program, but it's not a cry it out for 30 minutes. It's a routine style type of program, and it's a book. I can leave the link below so you can check it out as well. Like I said, many of my mommy friends have used it and it has been so successful. Actually, one of the moms that we went up to Tennessee used it, and she said it was phenomenal. Her baby girls slept throughout the entire night. They are 2.5 and 2, no, sorry, 3.5 and 2. So, and they slept through the entire night without a problem. So I want Dominic to be there. I feel it is important for him to get a very good night's sleep. But for the sake of this video, in transitioning them from the bassinet to your crib, take it one day at a time. Take it 1 hour at a time. Make small goals. Don't say, okay, he has to sleep in there all night. All 12 hours he has to sleep in his bed, or else I'm a horrible mom. No, that's not it. If he sleeps in there for 2 hours, yay, that is a goal. Gold star, because you made it 2 hours. And then just extend it. Extend it by a half hour, extend it by an hour, extend it by another 2 hours every day. Just be comfortable with what you're doing. You have to be comfortable in order for the baby to feel comfortable. And if you're not comfortable with just throwing him in there and saying good luck, then don't do that. Go buy it at a rate that you are comfortable with. You're not gonna mess your child up. Yes, it may take a little bit longer, but it's okay for your sanity and it's okay for his or hers. And I just wanted to let you know that you are doing an amazing job. Keep it up. Keep up that mommy instinct. And remember that all babies are different. And what worked for mine may not work for yours. So what worked for yours may not work for mine. And that is completely okay. And we're just in a learning curve, and we are going to do a fantastic job. So until next time.